What is art? What is it? What is art? What is art? I'm in a mood today, and I'm going to just I want to tell you a story first, and then get into what I think art is. But it's not a definition; it's more of a grand vision, and I just want to share it with you and give you guys a little bit more insight into what the heck I'm doing here. So, all right, I started this Facebook group a month ago, and not even a month ago, and I knew I wanted it to be something spiritual, and then very quickly it turned into something artistic because I'm artistic, and I still wasn't even sure like what the focus of it was going to be, and or what I was trying to do with it. But here's the thing. Sometimes when you want to do a thing, you can think about what you want to do over and over and over again and just sit there and think, and you never really get around to doing anything because you can't figure anything out. You're running around in circles trying to figure stuff out. So I decided to just start doing something and see where it took me. And so I started the group. And I knew that I want to make a television show of some kind or some kind of artistic series. I wasn't sure what it was going to be about, but I thought, I love doing the Daily Fuel, and that can help me sort of start talking about things and see what strikes me and see what strikes other people. And man, I got to tell you, this is really working for me because I'm going to make a TV series. It's going to be called Quantasy, and I never thought when I came up with the name Quantasy that it was going to be what it is that it's turning out to be. And I want to make it about art, which is really weird to me because it seems so obvious. This is the second time in my life that this has happened where the answer was art, and I went, how did I not see that? Because when I was in high school, I was getting ready to go to college. I'm going to be all over the place today, so unlike most days where it's a very linear stream of thought, I'm going to be kind of jumping all over the place. That's sarcasm. So I was in high school, and I wanted to go to the college, and they had one of those college fair days, right, where all the different colleges were there. And now when I was growing up, I was always an artist, always drawing, I made comic books, I drew pictures, and my dad was a pilot, and he was in the Air Force. So I grew up around airplanes, and I really liked airplanes. We'd go flying all the time. He'd take us up, and I loved to draw airplanes. So one day we went to the college fair thing in my high school, and Polytechnic University had a table there, and I'm talking to them, and they were asking me what I liked and what I did and whatever, and I told them about the drawing airplanes, and they said, "Oh, you could be an aerospace engineer and get to draw airplanes all the time." So I was like, "You mean I get to have a job drawing airplanes? What an amazing thing!" And so I went to school there. And I immediately found out that aerospace engineers don't draw airplanes all day long. I happen to be very good at math and science as well, so I was interested in the engineering part. Anyway, long story short, senior year of college, I am now in mechanical engineering, not aerospace engineering, because at the time it was a dying industry, it seemed, and nobody was getting jobs in aerospace engineering. So my guidance counselor talked me into switching to mechanical engineering. So now I was even in a major I didn't even care about, and I just wanted to get done and get my degree and get out. And I failed a class. So I failed this stress class, and it was stress 1, and I had to finish stress 1 in order to take stress 2 so I could graduate. But now stress 2, I couldn't take it because I failed stress 1 in the beginning half of my senior year. So now I had to wait a whole year to take stress 1 again next year, which meant now college was going to be at least 5 years, right? And I was like, this stinks. Now I got to go 5 years in college to get a degree. I don't want to get a job. I don't want to do things I don't want to do. And I was like, this is terrible. So I'm not going to tell the whole story of how this got to this because that's not the point. But the long story short is I ended up going to design school, and I didn't know that design school was a thing. And it was really funny. I'll tell you the story. It was my dad's idea. He said, why don't you go talk to your high school guidance counselor? I was like, what are you talking about? I'm 21 years old. I'm not going to my high school guidance counselor. And he said, come on, it's right down the block. Just go and talk to them and ask them what you should do. And so the lady was like, why didn't you go to school for art? And I was like, well, what am I going to do? Be a painter or something? She said, no, you can go for graphic design. So I didn't know that was a thing. Nobody ever told me that. So the next day, CW Post, this school near my house, had an open house day, and I went and I talked to them, and they signed me up, and I started that semester. And I went and I finished, and I got my degree in graphic design. And now I've been a graphic designer for many, many years. Had no idea, And so the point was that art was the answer, and I didn't. It was like, how did I not know to go to school for art? It was like, I've been an artist my whole life, and now here I am. I'm going to school for engineering for some reason, and so I can be an engineer and be this thing I don't want to be. I could have been an artist, and it's like, how did I not? Sometimes the answer is so obvious that I'm getting to what art is in a minute. So fast forward to now. I've had this idea. I've been a graphic designer. I've had this company, Fuel Blue, and I've been doing graphic design, but I've been doing it as like branding, web design, logo design, all this stuff that sort of is art, except it's really kind of not, and it's not really what I wanted to do. It was sort of like if I were a mechanical engineer as an artist, right? I found a thing that's marketable using my skills, but it's not really the thing I want to do. I want to be more creative, and I like making logos, but I like making them for my companies. I like making websites, but I like making them for my projects. I like making videos, but I like making them for my shows. I don't really care about making them for yours. Not you specifically, but anybody else. Another human being. If you're not me, I don't want to do your thing. And that's just how it is, except I created this business where I was doing other people's thing. And I was never getting around to doing my thing, which was sucking the life out of me. And I didn't really enjoy it all that much. And so then I was like, all right, well, I want to do my thing now. So I had this idea that I want to make this TV show. And I've been into the spiritual world for quite some time, many, many years, 15, going on 16 years or so that I've been, understanding law of attraction and spirituality and stuff like that. So it seemed it's always been a very foundational part of who I am lately. And so wanting to make this show, I've been coming up with all these themes about what the show could be about. And it wasn't until I started doing this group and then the group is becoming what it's becoming with this showcase for artists and these collaborations, and it's just running on its own. And I was like, the show's about art. And I was like, how did I not know that? How did I not figure that out? This is the second time that I didn't know that art was the thing. So how many times do I have to do this? So anyway, that's what the show is going to be about. But so it was just like, well, what is art? Because Barry is in the group, and he posted on my, when you join the group, there's the welcome video, and I'm talking about the rules and all that stuff. And he commented on it. He's like, well, is writing considered art? I was like, of course it's considered art, And personally, I don't think anything is not art. If you think it's art, then it's art. That's what I think. It doesn't matter what I think about your work. It matters what you think about your work. But it got me thinking, what is art? What even is it? And what do I want this show to be about? So I'm going to write the show right in front of you. That's what I've been doing without even knowing it, but now I know that I'm doing it. And these daily fuels are just going to be me spewing out ideas for what this show is about. And I'm going to take all the best ones of it, and I'm going to polish it up, and I'm going to make it a real live TV show. Not live, a real life TV show. Anyway, so I have a list of things that art is. And it's all of these things, and it's none of them, because it doesn't have to be any one of them, but it's all of them just innately. And art is creativity. Anything where you're just imagining something and putting it to paper or pen, anything, right? That's art. It doesn't matter how good it is. It doesn't matter how long it took. It doesn't matter if you went to school for it, right? None of that matters. Just the fact that there was a thought and an expression of that thought in some creative way, to me, is art. And it doesn't even mean that everybody has to agree that it's creative. Dan posted the thing about Duchamp. I think that's how you say it. With the I don't know if you saw it, but I had my teaser this morning with what is art, and saying the live would come later today. And he posted a link to the to an article about Marcel Duchamp, and 100 years ago was the Dada movement. If you're unfamiliar with that, Dada was an art movement where people created art out of everyday objects. And I remember learning about it in art history class. And at the time, we were all laughing about it and being like, "That's not art." But man, it so is art, because sometimes it just takes a little creativity to think, I'm going to create something and showcase something that goes against mainstream thought, so that I get people to think a little bit differently about something. And all he did was take a urinal and put it upside down and sign it, and called it art. And everybody scoffed at that. That's not art. What the heck is that? That's garbage, right? But that wasn't the point. The point wasn't that he made it or designed it or created it from scratch or, molded it. The point was, you have to think about it. It was creative. It was communication. I'm going to be all over the place. And communication is another thing that art is. There's design and there's propaganda. And any way that we can sort of take an idea and just sort of share it with other people, that's art. So it's not the medium, it's not the skill level, it's not the accolades, and it certainly isn't agreement, because I don't think that anybody in the world has to think that anything that you create is art except you. Because if you do, then it is. And that's that, in my opinion. And if you disagree, you're wrong. Right? But art is really just an expression of emotion, or it's healing. And if we need to we can use this creativity and this expression to transcend trauma, or to take an idea and express it somehow. And that's really what art is. And I this isn't really a finished thought today, but the main point of this was just to say that I think everything is art. And if you're in this group and you're watching this and you're looking at your thing and you're looking at other people's things and you're thinking that your thing is not a thing that their thing is, I think you're wrong. And I would love for you to share it here, because there are a lot of people who would like to see it or hear it or look at it or watch it or whatever. And, I know that there are people here that aren't classic artists. Not everybody in here is a painter, but it's easy to take a picture of a painting or a drawing and post it. Facebook is kind of made for that. It's not quite as easy if you're a dancer or a stand-up comic or an actor, or even somebody whose stuff, like your part, isn't seen, like a movie director. Oh, here's a film I made. Oh, you did the music? No. Oh, you did the acting? No, you don't even you don't even see me. You don't hear me, you don't see me. I'm just the guy who directed it and told everybody what to do, right? So, is that art? I think that it is. Would you say that Steven Spielberg's not an artist? Have you ever seen him in anything? No. But clearly, it's got his signature all over it. So, that's art to me. Anyway, I told you, this one's weird. Sometimes I have these weird ones. Sometimes I have very clear-cut things I want to get to. But today, this was just hit me in the head, and I was like, I gotta get this out somehow, because I think that when I start making this show, this is going to be like the opening theme. What is art? And I have all these things I want to say about it, and I'm just gonna practice live in front of you, and you're going to listen to it, and then we'll talk. All right, I'm going to stop here now, and we'll talk more about this, because I also want feedback on what you guys think. You're going to help me figure this out. I'm going to go to the comments and say hello. I see a lot of people here. Whew. Hey, look, I made it to a live. Trish, you're still here. I read that one. Victoria's here. Hello. How you doing? I'm here, and I'm live. Woohoo. Cool. Amy, we love your childhood stories. Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, I have a lot of them. Okay, Ray, Robert is a wise man. Yeah, he is. That was a really funny thing. I kind of glossed over it, but I went to a Catholic high school, right? And it was literally down the road. And I'm telling my dad, I think I want to quit school and do something else. And he's like, well, go talk to your guidance counselor. And I was like, well, I am not going to my high school guidance counselor. I graduated 4 years earlier, right? And he was saying how, come on, it was this, because it was this Catholic school, and the point of that is that they had this whole thing about how the school is family forever, and, you know, we're always tied together and stuff like that. And he just said this thing that was so funny. He's like, come on, they're always saying that thing about how we're family and crap. Go over there and make them prove it, you know? And I went and I talked to them, and they actually really helped me. I wish they had helped me 4 years earlier when I was actually starting to go to college, because I didn't know about graphic design then, but they told me then, so it was good. Graphic design is fun when I'm doing it for fun. Yeah, says Ty. Wait, did I skip any? No. Yeah, hi, Ty. How are you? Yeah, graphic design is a lot of fun. I enjoyed graphic design a lot. And there were many times in my career as a designer and web designer that I really, really enjoyed it. It's just that I've had these ideas for projects that I want to work on myself, for myself, and I've kind of gotten to the point where doing other people's projects just weighs me down emotionally and takes up so much of my time that I never get around to my thing. So I've kind of had to figure out that now is the point where I'm just like, nope, I'm cutting the ties and I'm doing my thing, and this is how I'm doing it. Finally listening to your heart. Yeah, Ray, that's exactly it. I'm finally listening to my heart. Victoria says, I'm the same way, except for a few different types of design. I actually stopped calling myself a graphic designer and started calling myself a layout artist, because that's ultimately the art I love. See, that's perfect. And I said this recently in another one. I've stopped calling myself a web designer. I've stopped calling myself a logo designer or branding designer or anything of those things, because in my mind, when I say those words, they sound like a service that I provide for other people. So now I call myself a musician and a filmmaker, where I know that there are plenty of people who are musicians and filmmaker who do service for other people, but I don't do those for other people, and I don't associate that. So in my mind, it's sort of taking the power back from myself. I'm a musician and a filmmaker. You know, yeah, I still have clients, and I'm still doing websites for them and things, because you know, I like eating food. It's nice, and this isn't paying bills yet, but it will, and I'm getting there, and I have a big plan for it, and I'm excited about it. Victoria, yay, a new Bobby show. Yeah, it's going to be really, really cool. I'm happy about it. I have so many ideas. It's going to be fun. I'm going to enjoy this a lot. Kelly says, hey, Kelly, how are you? Kelly says, art, taking an idea, sharing it with other people. I like that a lot. It makes, I was going to say, oh, that's a good one. You're taking it from me. I like that a lot. It makes me question, is this good enough, Les? Better to think, does this express my thought? Yeah, that. Right? Don't we say, is this good, a lot? You know? Don't we think that we have to like make a piece of art and show it to people and get approval for it? I don't think that we need to do that at all. And you know where I think we have a disservice is even in education. Even as little kids, people, you know, it's like a kid draws something, and what's the first thing we do? We say, wow, that's very good. You're so talented. Right? Don't we do that to little kids? And then so we grow up and as now into being artists, and we say, you know, hey, is this good, or do you like it? And, you know, even then people who aren't into the thing will just bash it for some reason and be like, oh, you stink, that's terrible. You know, I told you about the guy who wrote on my musical ad, like, this is objectively bad music. I was like, what the heck does that even mean? You know, how can anything be objectively bad? But just because you don't like it doesn't mean that I'm not good at it. You just don't like it. But now I'm saying that's not even the point. The point is that I had something to say, and I'm expressing my views on something, and I'm trying to get an emotion across or a point across, and we do that through art. And you can do that whether the art is good or bad, where there's always going to be somebody talented more than you. And more than me. There are many, many, many people who can sing way better than I can, who write better songs than I do. Okay, that doesn't mean I don't have something to say, and it doesn't mean you don't have something to say. So yeah, Kelly, thanks for saying that, because that helped drive it home a little bit. So Ray says, some things should never be finished, including some thoughts. Yep. Kelly, for the record, you what something should never be finished. What I know what the sentiment means, but I don't know what the context was. Kelly, for the record, you being all over the place with your thought streams makes me feel right at home. Good. Good. Yeah, it dawned on me because I remember it doesn't matter. I was going to say something about my old group, but I took the idea of Daily Fuel from my old group. I was teaching entrepreneurs about video, and I did a lot of things about, like, so many Daily Fuels would be about, like, the way I have my lights set up, and there was always a rhythm to them and a point, you know, like, here are three ways to set up your lights, right? And I go boop, 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 done, you know, and then we talk about it, and that would be that. Except I'm noticing in this group that I'm not really structuring my daily fuels the same way. They're not all like, here are 3 reasons why this, you know, or 3 ways to do that. And now it's more like, I have this thing I want to say, and I don't know how to say it, so I'm going to practice it here. And so if you guys are cool with that, I think I'm not going to do that every day, but I think that a lot of times you're going to see things like this because it's going to help me hone it down. And then, you know, it seems to me that it's sort of sparking ideas in your heads too, and you can share them in the comments. And if you are sharing them in the comments on the replay, then definitely tag me because I'd like to come back and see what you say about this stuff. Victoria, a director is an artist and the actors, producers, and developers are the medium. Sorry, I had to say it early. Yeah, right? Exactly. Same thing, Victoria, with a layout artist, right? I don't know if I said this in a live before, but I'll say the story again, especially since it pertains to you specifically. I remember early in my design career reading an article written by a graphic designer, and the graphic designer was talking about how he was trying to explain to his grandmother what a graphic designer does. And he showed her an ad that he put together and said, because she was like, what do you do? And I'm a graphic designer. Well, what is that? What do you do? So he showed her this ad that he put together. And she's looking at the ad, and it was a traditional print ad. You know, it had a headline and a photo or a drawing or something, and a logo for the company, and then the text. And she said, oh, you took this picture? He's like, no, I didn't take the picture. A photographer we hired took the picture. Oh, you made the logo for the company? No, the company already had the logo. We just used it in the ad. So you wrote the headline? No, I didn't write the headline. The copy editor wrote the headline. And well, did you write the text in the body of the ad? No, I didn't write that. The copywriter wrote that. And she's like, well, what the hell did you do? You know? And because without the graphic designer, there would be no ad. There would just be pieces. And the ad is a lot more than the sum of its parts. So for a lot of us as artists, especially the ones who are taking other people's things, because I do that a lot, people ask me all the time, like, you know, if you've seen some of the more produced videos I've made with the stock video footage, it's like, oh, did you create the motion graphics? I'm like, no, I don't have time for that. I'm not really even all that interested in doing that. But I find things that are really, really cool, and I put them in my videos, and I edit them the way that I want them to. And I don't even make all the music for the music beds. I find that from other things. So does that mean I didn't do it? No, of course not, because those are just pieces laying around. I picked them up and I put them together. And sometimes that's what an artist does. Mikey's here. What's up, pal? See you on the replay. Cool. And Trish, it's always good to brainstorm with others. Yeah, it is. I don't know what the context of that is, but it is good to brainstorm with. Oh, because what I was saying, that I'm gonna have a mental stream here, and you guys are gonna help me. Yes, it is good to brainstorm with others. So some days, Daily Fuel is gonna be a brainstorming session, I think. It's really interesting where I'm going with this. I don't know what the next step is. And that's a little scary for me because I used to be like, you know, up until yesterday, one of these people. I had to have all the steps planned out. And you know what? That doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And I don't know why it doesn't work. Well, I do know why it doesn't work, but I'm not going to get into that today. It doesn't work. And, you know, this is more on the spiritual side where I need to trust the process and understand that I don't really know where this is going to lead me. I just know that it's leading me somewhere that I want to go, because every step that I've been taking so far has been more exciting than the last one. And now I'm up to this one where I know that the show is going to be about art. And I say art, and that's very general, but art in the spiritual sense and art in the realm of humanity. I have a big thing I want to do with this, and I thank you for helping be a part of it. Victoria says, we are kind of like mixed medium artists. We create composites that bring out ideas and emotions. Yeah, a lot of us are. And Ray, as long as you don't have mental fart. I have those all the time, Ray. So, okay, guys. If that's the last comment, then I'm going to end this one here. Thank you so much for, once again, spending your time with me. I appreciate this more than you know, and I hope that you're getting as much value out of this as I am. Please keep adding to the group. Please, if you're watching this and you would like to add to the group, go for it. If you've been adding to the group, keep adding. There's no limit. Trish says yes, LOL. It's right because of what I said. And see, this is the problem with the comments, is they come in so late that by the time I read it, I don't know what the heck we're talking about anymore. And Ray says, well, if the fart smells like roses or roast beef, then it's okay. And my dog was farting last night. Oh my God, it was horrendous. It was absolutely horrendous. And I was like, I walked into the room and it hit me like a brick wall. I was like, what is that? It was my dog. Poor thing. I don't know what the heck was wrong. She's fine today, but man, she had some stomach problems last night. Always, says Victoria, we love this stuff. I don't know how we got on farts, but there we are. All right, guys. Thanks so much. You guys have a wonderful night, and I will see you. Oh, Victoria, you get the booby prize. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.